Hi everyone, I'm Andy Harrington and I'm the Executive Director of the Canadian Foodgrains Bank.
And I'm Guy Smagghe. I'm the Director at Presbyterian World Service and Development, a member of Canadian Foodgrains Bank.
And this is Get to Know Your Canadian Foodgrains Bank member. So Guy, great to have you with us.
Nice to see you today.
Yeah, good to see you as well. Tell us a little bit about the work of Presbyterian World Service and Development, PWS&D.
Right. Well, Presbyterian World Service and Development is the relief, development, and refugee agency of the Presbyterian Church in Canada. This year, we're commemorating 75 years of work in this ministry of the church. So it's a pretty special year for us. We're members of the ACT Alliance and of Kairos, as well as Canadian Foodgrains Bank. And as such, we take great pride in the effectiveness that we find through our ecumenical networks. Together, we feel we're able to achieve so much more than if we were trying to do this mission by ourselves. So it's nice to be with such like-minded people. We have long-standing partners in places like Malawi, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Haiti, and we've been members of CFGB since 1993. So in a nutshell, that's a little bit about us.
It's an amazing organization. And I know that you travel quite a bit. Obviously, the last few years, none of us have been able to travel too much, but tell us a little bit about that work in detail in terms of a memorable visit that you've made. So in some of those countries you've talked about, I know you have amazing work. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, I've had the opportunity to travel to many places with sometimes with CFGB staff and other members. One that comes to mind is a visit we did to Haiti about 10 years ago at a time when we decided to do a joint visit with CFGB staff and members to explore how we could potentially scale up our work in Haiti as Canadian churches, because we felt we weren't maybe doing as much as we could be doing in the poorest country of this hemisphere. So it was exciting to kind of go down there and meet agencies. And this gave rise to a number of projects and partnerships. And to this day, we are supporting a nutrition project with undernourished children under 5 in Haiti, and agricultural projects in collaboration with the Mennonite Central Committee. So I know it's a very challenging environment to work in a place like Haiti, but Jesus calls us to reach out to the least of these, meaning those who are most in need of assistance, no matter where they may be. So it's not because it's a challenging place to work in that we shouldn't be there, and quite the opposite. And that's why we had decided to make that trip.
You know, it's amazing, isn't it? I love what you've just said about those are the places that we should be. The work that PWS&D does isn't designed.
Yeah, and sometimes we work with people who are not Christians, and that is not a problem, because for us what's most important is that these people are fed and are finding enough to put on their table every single day, and it doesn't matter what's their background. And I think Jesus was also not looking only after Christians when he was here.
Yeah, by definition, absolutely. No, spot on. And it's that sense of our faith being lived out by our words, and the fact that every human being, no matter of creed, background, ethnicity, religion, or anything, is made in the image of God. And actually that raises a question for me. Is there as you think about the faith basis of what we do, is there a verse that you kind of hold on to when you think about the difficulty of dealing with the global hunger crisis that we're in?
Well, for me, it all comes back to the question that was asked to Jesus about what is the greatest commandment. And Jesus said, it is to love God with all of our soul and all of our heart, but it is just as important to love our neighbor as ourselves. And to love our neighbor is to care for them. And that's, not only the ones who actually live next door, but also the ones you don't see, the ones who live in much more difficult circumstances in various parts of the world. And our planet really is a speck of dust in the vast universe of creation. And we have enough on this little planet for all. So it's our mission to share that abundance that we have, and that we have been given, in order to help even things out, even a little bit. with those who struggle to find food on a daily basis.
Those are very inspiring words, Guy. And I just think of the work you mentioned, Afghanistan, and we know some of the issues there are in actually working in Afghanistan at the moment. I think of what you're doing and what I've heard you say in other presentations about your passion for a place like Afghanistan. You live that out every day. It's a real privilege to work alongside you, actually. And as you think about these things, and you think about the future of PWS&D and all that you're doing, what is it you're most excited about right now? We've talked about some of the challenges. What is it that excites you, that keeps you going in those challenges?
Yeah, of course, there are always depressing things that are going on, such as not being able to help in Afghanistan as much as we would like to right now. But we have to look for opportunities, right? And if we can't work there, we can work elsewhere. And right now, we are working hard in Pakistan. And for me, what excites me is to see the opportunity that we have to respond to the crying needs of people in places like the Sindh province in Pakistan, that until recently was just experiencing such levels of drought that was tormenting people and making their lives very difficult. And now recently they've had the monsoon rains that have absolutely flooded the place. And we see people walking in water knee deep and all of their goods and belongings just floating, including their beds and everything. It's just heartbreaking. But what is exciting is that we have an opportunity to respond. And we are facing a similar situation in Malawi, not with the floods as much, but also with serious food scarcity that is worsening with the conditions that we're experiencing at the global level. And I'm just in the middle of preparing to share these words with all of the members of the Canadian Foodgrains Bank, because that's what's exciting at this table, is that I can only dream of how large a response we can put together. How creative can we be to help as many people as we can and at a critical time? Because we have a lot of resources at our disposal, and we have very much a lot of willing churches of all denominations who are willing to collaborate and share resources as much as we do with them as well. So it's also exciting to see how much trust the government of Canada has in our association, and how this is materialized in those financial resources that are made available to us. I'm also excited, many more things that I'm excited about.
Carry on, I want to hear, this is good.
Well, I'm excited by the conservation agriculture work that we're able to support at a time when the climate emergency is making it increasingly challenging for farmers all around the world to predict weather patterns. And we are working with farmers to make them more resilient to these changing weather patterns through a lot of sharing of knowledge, like those techniques of conservation agriculture. And then there's the whole issue that we've been calling nexus programming. And I think this is really kind of getting into a very positive direction for our programming, where we say, yeah, it's good to do humanitarian assistance and to provide food and after disasters, but how do we change that into sustainable solutions to hunger, and how can we link those two? So to me, those are all exciting things that are there and that make our work very very passion ridden.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's exciting. I mean, I'm going to ask you in a minute, what do you like most about being a member of the Foodgrains Bank? But you've actually covered so much of that already, that work that we're all collectively and collaboratively engaged in to change systems, that whole thing of nexus of here over here is humanitarian relief and here over here is sustainability. Why can't we join these things together more? I think that's so impactful and something I'm really enjoying working with you and the members on. But I guess this is my final question. As you think about the collective impact of all of us together, what do you like most about being a member of the Foodgrains Bank?
Well, the Foodgrains Bank feels like a close family of people, all driven by the same common mission of ending global hunger. So it's a family of friends, and there is a strong collaborative spirit that makes for incredible opportunities to respond in so many places in the world, and particularly where the needs are the greatest. I like the very high standards that the Canadian Foodgrains Bank has when it comes to its programming, as well as to its reporting and accountability systems. These really help us all to be as good as we can to do the work that we're called to do. So It also helps to attract the trust and confidence of, for example, the government of Canada and of foundations like the Gates Foundation. And not only that, but also of farmers across the country who donate time and resources to grow crops for the benefit of those in the world who need food assistance. While churches have differences when it comes to theology and governance and those things, they all seem to come together united in this common cause of ending global hunger. The Canadian Foodgrains Bank, in that sense, is a model of ecumenism at its best. And as a comparatively smaller size organization that we are, this is precisely where we want to be to have the greatest impact.
Small, but you punch way above your weight, mate, as we say where I come from. Right? You have an amazing impact. And I love your description of a collection of friends working together. And I think the way you've described Foodgrains Bank is as good a description as I've heard of it, what we're about. So thank you for that, Guy. And thanks so much for being part of this. I know I've thoroughly enjoyed my time working alongside PWS&D and look forward to doing more alongside the other members. But I really want to thank you for what you do.
We hope your time is just starting.
In my plan it is, but hey, you're on the board, you tell me. It's an enjoyable thing to do, but more than that, it's a right thing to do. And you've described the reasons why so well. So thank you so much, Guy. Thank you so much for what you do with PWS&D and what all your staff and your partners in the field do as well. We are grateful to have you as part of the Foodgrains Bank.
Well, thank you. It's an honor, Andy, and your team is fantastic. And we're always very proud to walk along together in this common mission.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Guy. Thanks so much.
Okay, you take care.
Okay, you too. Bye.